Darwinian evolution. Junk science.
So returning again to spiritual principles, I've broken these down into three main things. In Genesis, it tells us to love and obey your Creator and reflect His divine moral qualities in your life. Darwin says, your only God is yourself. Do what you will to survive and thrive. Genesis says all people of every race are descended from Adam and Eve. So are your brothers and sisters. Love your neighbor as yourself. Darwin says man is an animal that evolved by natural selection. So some people and or races are less evolved than others. And those who he considers unfit deserve extinction, not sympathy. Do you want to live in a world like that? That is where the world is heading very rapidly. Here's the last one. Eternal life for man is God's intention, but there will be a judgment of evil. Things like lying, stealing, and murder are bad, while righteousness, justice, and mercy are good. The corollary from Darwin is this. As with every other animal, your life now is all there is. There will be no judgment, and there is no good or evil. Ultimately, survival of the fittest is the only rule. Therefore, lying, stealing, murder, those things are just superstitious terms. Use those things. That's the implication for the elite, isn't it? Use whatever is at your disposal. Win at any cost, with any means. Survival of the fittest is the only rule. So what do we find in the world today where Darwinian evolution is the driving thinking of the elite? The dominant Darwinian mindset produces corporations, businesses, politicians, globalist elitists, and people of all kinds for whom winning is everything, by any means possible, including lying, fraud, stealing, double dealing, and even murder, all the while pretending to be moral, because to be perceived as moral will help them win. Look at politics. How often do they lie to the people? Just about everything they say is a lie, isn't it? And then they get up before everybody and say, God bless America. Do they even believe in God? I don't think so. Why do they say that? They want you to think they believe in God. It's all duplicitous, it's all hypocritical, and it's all Darwinian. Why is it that we have all of this poison in our food? You can trace that back to this Darwinian ethic. Why is it that government leaders pretend to be supporting America, but they're really working behind the scenes to bring about the globalist regime? Why is that happening? Why do they feel perfectly free to be traitors to the Constitution they swore to protect? There is no morals, right? They're evolutionists. They're doing what they think will make them win. We have to understand this as believers. We have to not be naive about people. Do not assume that the people, especially the people in power, are moral, good people. Because they may pretend to be nice, they may pretend to care about everybody, but I'm telling you, as soon as it gets down to something that matters to them, the claws are going to come out, and you won't believe what you see. This is the world we live in, and I'm telling you, it's going to get so much worse than it is right now, because the only thing that has stood in the way of this is a preponderance of Bible-believing people in some countries, such as the United States. And that is totally now on the wane, and these people smell blood, and they're going for it. Can you imagine? Recently, we had a political candidate who classified, a lot like Darwin, about a quarter of the population of America as being irreconcilable. That's what she said. And she called them a basket of deplorables. How can you talk about your fellow citizens like that unless you have some kind of an elitist, Darwinist mentality? This is coming in like a storm. And you know, the scriptures tell us that this would happen. 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5. It tells us the attitude that would come about in the last days. I'm not going to read it. You can read it yourself. It's exactly what a Darwinian outlook would bring you to. So let's look again at our title picture. As we look at this picture, who are the victims here of the racist Darwinian elite? Well, we might think at first, that's clearly the native people. And I would agree with you. But what about all of these young men who were basically brainwashed with the Darwinian thinking and sent out to give their blood as cannon fodder for the elite? Are they not just as much victims? In both cases, ultimately, the people there are dying for the profit of the wealthy elite. You know, it's time for the common people in this world to wake up, because the elite has always been doing this. They have been pitting people against one another, right? Black against white. This group against that group. They're constantly doing that. Why do they do that? Because they don't want us to look at where all of this misery is really coming from, which is from them. They're still doing the same thing. Friends, love your brothers. Love your brothers. And look at where the enemy is really coming from. That's something that we really have to do today in order to act effectively to deal with the things that are really coming down the pike and coming down in a hurry. So as we look at Darwinian evolution, what do we find? A relic, right? An evil relic that should have long ago been abandoned for the pseudoscience and really the hateful doctrine that it is. A relic of elitist folly.
Was this video informative? Remember to hit the like button to help spread the word, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button so you'll get updates on all the great content coming from Eliyahu Ben David.